One of the things that always strikes me about Sandra and Rick is that they show up. Whether we're celebrating a research breakthrough or somebody getting an endowed chair, they're there, they're helping create a sense of community among the people who have come to that event and maybe don't really know each other, and I really admire that about them.
What I really admire about Sandra is that she's passionate. She has no specific agenda other than to open up UCSD and other UCs to people who never had a chance before.
Yeah, I met Rick while we were both working in the laboratories of Dr. S.C. Lin of the Ames department. I was really impressed with him when I first met him. He was down to earth, soft-spoken, wickedly smart, and generous with his time. One of the technologies that Dr. Lin was developing was a deep ultraviolet light source called an excimer or excimer laser. Shortly after graduating, Rick and I decided to start a company to try to commercialize this technology. And today, every advanced chip in smartphones, laptops, video games, etc., has been manufactured using Cymer's excimer lasers, developed under Rick's technical leadership. Rick and I owe our technical education in physics and engineering to those departments at UCSD.
I was the first in my family to go to college. And at the time, we were completely supported by the state, by both Social Security and GI Bill. Since then, the fraction of state support has dropped, and so the university has to look for other sources of support.
I was a first-gen student, and as a first-gen student, I had to work my way through school. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't have anybody to ask, and it was a difficult time. So I would work in the cafeteria on 2 different shifts, so I would be able to have 2 meals a day. And I know that basic needs supports has to be there if students are going to be able to worry about their schoolwork and not how they live and eat from day to day. For students with families who can't financially support them through school, it is a big burden to be concerned about. So what we try to do is support students, first-gen, underrepresented students, who would not be able to get there without that.
So I think it's really important that we be aware that our first-gen students come into the university without knowing a lot of background information about how a university actually works. So we need to explain ourselves to them so they aren't left wondering how things work.
It's important for us that we allow opportunities for those that have traditionally not been allowed in the university to go to the university and have access, because what we know for sure, about 1/3 of the students are in the bottom 20 when they come, and then when they leave, they're in the top 20% of income earners. So it's a direct correlation.
We have an endowment fund, and we've done an endowment challenge to beef up the support so everybody has access. Everybody who has the ability to go to UC San Diego can go and get an education there.
We're very lucky to have Sandra on the board because there are 26 regions in the state of California, but only 3 of them, myself, Maria Aguiano, and Sandra, are from San Diego. So we're able to really help in terms of UCSD.
Well, when I met Sandra Timmons, the first thing that struck me was the quickness of her mind. From our first conversation, I learned that from her own personal experiences, she believed that certain experiences that children have can change their developmental trajectories, moving them toward greater well-being and resilience and away from risk of adverse academic and social outcomes.
When we were looking at different opportunities, I had this gnawing idea that music is one place you can excel and then want to learn. So I went to the university, ended up with Terry Jernigan and the Human Development Group to look at how music could impact a child's learning, and particularly reading. And they found that some kids who hadn't succeeded we're talking about pre-K and K, at reading or pre-reading processes, and it actually increased their engagement at school, and they started doing better.
What she's really interested, what she told me, that her real goal is to get a more robust education at the junior high, elementary school level, so that these students really have a shot at going to a UC. If you only do these programs in high school, it's not going to help. You really need to start those programs early to get prepared and be eligible and go to a University of California. And that's been her message since she got on the board.
What we see happening with the gifts that we give is more students having access to the university, more students being educated, more students being well prepared to work in the community. Education goes beyond just what you learn in a book. You connect to a community, you connect with people when you have this process, when you have this opportunity for an education at UC San Diego. Many people can do lots of things. Most people don't have the opportunity to do that. And our support at UC San Diego allows a lot of people to have that opportunity that wouldn't have otherwise.
You can see why she's given us medal.
That's she and he. We're a great team.